Hi, I'd like to tell you a little bit about needlepoint. Needlepoint is an ancient craft. Reportedly, examples of needlepoint have been found in Egyptian tombs. However, old-fashioned needlepoint can take years to complete. Gallery needlepoint art kits are different. They are a new and fun, easy way to quickly create fabulous needlepoint art. Gallery needlepoint art kits have unique patented features. The cotton mesh is backed so that it remains rigid, and the full color design is printed on both the mesh and backing, making it very easy for anyone to stitch. Our original contemporary designs are small, the size of a 5 by 7 inch photograph. The picture takes a short time to stitch, and the finished art fits into a standard size mat and frame with no additional finishing required. Gallery needlepoint art kits include wonderful materials: wool, breathtaking colors of silk, and museum-style wide mat boards. Our designs have common color palettes and are suitable for display as a collection. We hope you will take a few moments to explore this website and discover our new and exciting version of this ancient art. Let me tell you what's included in your Gallery needlepoint art kit. A unique feature of the backer board is the hook and loop fasteners that will ultimately secure your finished needlepoint. Our original 5 by 7 inch designs are printed in full color on the canvas mesh and backing. Also, the edges of the canvas have been taped to prevent snagging the yarn. Ample yarn is provided to complete the picture. Generally, the sky or background is stitched in wool and the design in silk. Depending on a design, there are between 5 and 10 different colors of yarn. A tapestry needle and instructions are also included. In addition to the written instructions, the video instructions on this website are recommended. How to start your gallery needlepoint art. Before we start, let's talk about it. There are no wrong stitches. This is a creative process. Enjoy it. Your finished picture will look great. Before beginning to stitch, just take a few moments to put the mat and backer boards back into the bag so they are clean and ready when stitching is complete. Open the bag of yarn and separate the wool or background yarn. This is where you will begin. The background wool yarn comes in 3-ply or 3-strand pieces. The silk yarn comes in 2-ply or 2-strand pieces. In each case, you will need to separate into single strands. To do so, take one strand and gently slide it down away from the remaining strands. Once you have a single ply of yarn, you will need to thread the needle. Threading the needle with single ply yarn is easy, but requires a technique. First, fold about 2 inches of yarn over the needle shaft and pull so that a tight V shape is created. Then slide the V off the needle toward the point, firmly holding the point of the yarn V between your thumb and forefinger. Then take the needle and push the point of the V through the eye of the needle. Then pull the yarn through the eye. After you've done this a few times, it will seem very natural. How to stitch the tent and half cross stitch. A word about color. If the background color is very dark, it will appear as a lighter shade on the printed canvas. This is to make it easier to see the holes in the mesh. When stitched, it will look like the darker color. Designs with a light background will have the background on canvas matching the yarn. Now that you have the needle threaded with the wool or background color, you're ready for your first stitch. It's recommended that you complete all the background wool sections before proceeding to the design. Push the needle from the back to the front of the canvas in the upper left-hand corner of the background color, 1 square from the top. Now pull the yarn through to the front until only about a 1-inch long tail remains on the back side. Push the needle into the diagonal hole to the upper right, and then pull through the canvas completely while holding on to the tail on the reverse side. Then push the needle up from the back through the hole directly below where the first stitch started, covering or tacking down the tail. The backing will also help hold the tail in each stitch. Continue down the first column of stitches. This is called the tent stitch. Position the needle at the next column of stitches starting from the bottom and stitch from the bottom up using the half cross stitch. The design side of the needlepoint will look exactly the same with the two different stitches. However, the 10 stitch has more yarn on the back side than the half cross stitch as in the example. We recommend using both stitches on the design. Finishing with a piece of yarn, how to tie off. Once there is about 3 inches of yarn left, you will need to switch colors. You will need to tie off the yarn. You want to pull the needle to the back side and run the needle under a few of the existing stitches to secure. Then clip any remaining yarn with your scissors. Stitching with silk yarn. To begin stitching with the silk yarn, separate the silk into piles of color. Choose the shade with the most yarn and start with the darkest color. Remember to separate into a single ply piece of silk yarn. Follow the instructions for the 10th and half cross stitch. Silk is a natural fiber composed of multiple strands. This gives silk its sheen and lustrous color, but it also makes it a little more difficult to work with. A suggestion is to run your fingers down the silk's yarn after the needle is threaded to line the threads. Occasionally, the silk will knot around itself or bunch up like a little fur ball. Just take the time to smooth it out and continue stitching. If the knot seems impossible, just cut it out. You will have more than enough yarn. Now continue stitching the design with the silk yarn until you're complete. How to attach the finished needlepoint picture to the backer board. Once the design is complete, retrieve the mat and backer boards. The backer board has 3 hook dots that will hold your needlepoint. Position the back side of the needlepoint over the dots. Put the mat board on top to ensure that the picture is centered. If not, reposition the needlepoint. Once centered in the mat opening, firmly press the needlepoint backside onto the hooks on the backer board. Select a frame with an 11 by 14 opening and place the complete matted design in the frame. Enjoy your gallery needlepoint art and thank you for joining us.